So knowing your ego self, your counterfeit personality, is key so that you're not sabotaging yourself. So today we're going to talk about the 5 things you should get to better understand yourself. Number 1, numerology is the universal language. Knowing your numerology helps you understand how you fit in the universe and how you can manipulate or change things for your benefit or your detriment for when you don't know, right? So knowing your numerology and working with numbers is a good idea to help you delegate some of that, so you're not always doing it all by yourself, because you're never alone. You're never alone, right? So number 1 is numerology. Know your numbers. Number 2, biorhythms. Everyone has their own biorhythms. You can look this up online. You can go to biorhythm calculator, okay? So they have several biorhythms. One is that just does the intellectual, emotional, physical, which is cool. And then you also have some that get a little jiggy with it, where it does the spiritual, the awareness, and the aesthetics. So if you're a fan of the zodiac, and they'll tell you, like, sometimes you're more attractive on certain times of the year versus others, that's that aesthetic, right? Along with the awareness, or more spiritual, because there are certain times of the year where you have a heightened intuitive sense. But I don't know why they separated the intuition and the spiritual. I don't know. More research is required. But the point is that they do have these things. So you can keep it basic, or you can get real elaborate with it. The thing is to know your cycles. When is it good for you to execute your plans? And when is it good for you to stay still and just sit in the house and do nothing, because you would be going against the grain. These things are up and these things are down. You can kind of gauge it for yourself based on past experiences. But the point is to know biorhythms so that energetically you're working with your goals, ambitions, and dreams. Does that make sense? 2. That's number 2, biorhythm. Number 3, read and study. Read and study quantum physics. Read and study self-help, self-mastery. Read and study universal laws. Read and study just the great works, okay? There's a couple of books that I know I've read. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Universal Laws, the Emerald Tablets, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Read and get more knowledgeable. Most millionaires, most people in power are avid readers. Knowledge is power. That's all I got to say. So number 1, numerology, know your numbers. 2, know your biorhythm, so you can work it with the numbers. 3, when you got the knowledge with the biorhythm, with the numbers, you can execute things at the proper time and the proper place. 4, know your ego personality, your counterfeit personality, your character flaw, whatever you want to say it. Whether you're psychopathic, you like to control, or you're anal, you got to win at all costs, or I'm right and everybody else is wrong, or I'm going to sacrifice myself so I don't feel abandoned, even though it's not right for me, but I'm going to go along with everybody because I don't want to be abandoned and alone, or self-sabotage ways. Know your ego self. Know your counterfeit personality. Know how you show up when you are out of alignment with your higher self and in alignment with the ego, and how that affects things. And then you can decide as an observer, is this the right thing to do? Going to get me to my purpose and keep me on my path? Or is this another distraction that's going to keep me off my path and giving me more of what I don't want? Does that make sense? So knowing your ego self, your counterfeit personality, is key so that you're not sabotaging yourself. For example, let's say you're a masochistic personality, you like to self-sabotage. So you may know, okay, my biorhythm's up next week, and it is the proper day and the numerology matches up, but they got a sale now. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this sale. And then lo and behold, you got like a lemon, or, something didn't go right. They charge you 2 or 3 times on your card when they only should have charged you once, all because you wanted it now as opposed to waiting to where it was ideal because you saw a sale and you wanted to kind of self-sabotage yourself. Does that make sense? Numerology, biorhythms, read and study counterfeit personality. Number 5, utilize other schools of thoughts, techniques for analyzing, i.e. your zodiac, i.e. human design, i.e. Bagua, i.e. Mayan calendar, i.e. Hopi spirit animal totem, whatever. All these things matter, because as you start on your journey, especially if you're reading things on quantum physics, you'll notice that a lot of it coincides. Like, it all starts to make sense. Like, it starts to show up the same thing each and every time, and if it's a little off, you can kind of hone in on it and say, okay, either something is off with me or something is off with the information that I'm receiving. Like, for example, say you were doing numerology, right? And you're studying yourself, and you go back in your journals and you go and find out which days were power days or good days, or when good things happen, and which days were negative things happen, right? And let's say that you were born on, the 3rd, right? And all this time you thought you were the 3rd, and the book says if you're on the 3rd, then these are your lucky numbers, these are the days, these are the things you should execute contracts or play games of chance or whatnot, right? So you're going through it and you're looking and you're matching what is in the textbook with what is actually on in your life from your journals, and it's not matching up. And you're like, well, what is this? What is it not matching up? So either it's something in my thinking or something in the teaching that is not right and not matching up, because everything else is. And you find out that you died when you were born, and you weren't born on, say, the 2nd like you thought. You were actually born on the 3rd. And then the light bulb goes off. Be like, oh, okay, now it starts to make sense. More research, more digging. Because what on the surface area you thought, oh, it's wrong, so it's just wrong. No, it just required more digging, more research, right? So now it starts to coincide with why certain days and these are things that are tools to help you better understand you and what your purpose is, and what are your strengths and weaknesses, without having to just do, well, today's a good day, that means it's a good day, so just check that off. And kind of scientific background, like, so research. I'm a scientist by nature. I graduated with a science degree, so I'm very much so science-driven, hypothesis, test, verify, all of that, yada, yada, yada. Do human design, do Bagua, do Mayan calendar. Get them all together to where it makes sense. And then couple it with reducing your counterfeit personality, working with biorhythms and numerology, and furthering your study, you will be phenomenal on your quest to self-mastery and getting back to your purpose. So, hope this helps. Take care. Bye.